Chapter 29. I need your help with something, I tell Mom the following night. She's in her room sorting laundry into piles. She pauses to talk to me. Sure, what do you need? I want to do more to help find Ziggy, I say. Understandable, Mom says. We all want Ziggy to be found. I was thinking, what if I organize a bigger search party? I could get other people in the building to sign up. We could break up into groups, spread out around the neighborhood, and knock on people's doors. Ziggy has to be out there somewhere. If the local shelters haven't seen him, then maybe someone else found him, or maybe someone else outside the park has seen him somewhere. It's worth a try. Please, will you let me? That's a great idea, Mom says. Of course I'll help. I hug her. Thank you. If I make some new flyers with the search party info, will you come with me to hand them out around the building? Absolutely. Also, I was thinking maybe we can draw people in with the promise of food, like order some pizzas for volunteers. Everyone loves free food. I can use some of my dog walking money to pay for it. It's worth it. At this point, I'll do anything to get Ziggy back. I don't want you to use your money, Mom says. I can pitch in for that. Are you sure we can, you know, afford it? I ask. We can afford a few pizzas, Mom says. Thank you. I'll go design the flyer. Mom starts sorting laundry again, and I go back into my room. I open up a new document on my computer, put Ziggy's picture in the middle again, and instead of writing lost dog on the top, I type, help us find Ziggy in large letters. Then below the picture, I write, join us on Saturday, June 20th at 3 o'clock to search for fellow friend and neighbor Ziggy, apartment 3D. All volunteers will get pizza after the search. Once I'm happy with it, I show it to May to make sure she's okay with it. She is, so I print a bunch of copies from our home printer. I figure black and white copies will work fine. Mom and I decide to go around the building and hand out the flyers the following night, around 8 o'clock. We figure most people will be done with dinner by then. Malia comes with us, but she insists on wearing her pajamas since it's right before her bedtime. They're pink and covered with smiling rainbows. I want to press the buttons, Malia says as we head the elevator. All of them. Deal, I say. We start with 1A, and Malia rings the doorbell. The last time I saw Carlos was when I lied about dropping off Ziggy the night I lost him. What if Carlos calls me out on it? When he opens the door a few moments later, I brace myself. But all he says is, oh, hi. He seems surprised to see us. Everything okay? Do you need help with something in your apartment? No, it's nothing like that, Mom says. We wanted to give you this. I hand over a flyer. We're putting together a search party to look for Ziggy. I pause and then blurt out. I'm sorry about lying to you. I hadn't dropped off Ziggy that night. He was already lost, but I panicked when you asked me about him. It's okay, Carlos says, his expression sympathetic. I understand. Relieved, I explain my search party plan and tell him that there will be pizza afterward. That's a great idea, Carlos says. If you need help handing out the rest of the flyers, I can slip them in everyone's mailboxes. That would save us a lot of time. Mom puts her arm around Malia. This one needs to go to bed soon. Of course. I hand over the pile of flyers. Thank you so much. Can we count you in for the search? My family will be there, Carlos says. I grin. Awesome. Hopefully the rest of our neighbors will agree to come help too. That worked out nicely, Mom says as we're getting in the elevator to head back upstairs. Malia presses the button for our floor. Thanks for coming with me to hand out the flyers, I say. You're welcome, honey. Is it okay if I invite Dad to the search party too? Of course, I smile. Great, I know Carlos is going to make sure everyone gets a flyer, but can I still give out a few myself? Can I do it quickly while you get Malia ready for bed? Nora? Mom asks. I shake my head. She doesn't want to talk to me. We got into a fight and I hurt her feelings. I didn't mean for it to happen. Sorry to hear that, Mom says. I don't know if she'll ever forgive me. I'm sure she will, Mom says. You two are such good friends. Just give her some time. Yeah. So, who do you want to give flyers to? Mom asks. The other kids, Miles, Elena, Oliver. They're still avoiding me at the bus stop, but maybe if I talk to them alone, they'll be willing to forgive me. Fine, Mom says. But bring your phone with you. And be home in 20 minutes. That should be more than enough time. Deal. Unlike Nora, I'm terrible at memorizing people's apartment numbers. So I look at the directory in the lobby's vestibule. Oliver is 2F, Elena is 4E, and Miles is 5D. I decide to start at the lowest floor and work my way up. Oliver's door has a pretty spring wreath on it with branches forming a circle and small white flowers and leaves on the bottom half. I take a deep breath and ring the doorbell. A minute later, Oliver opens the door. Joy, he says. What are you doing here? Hey, I hold up my flyer. I wanted to give you this. I'm putting together a search party to find Ziggy. I don't know if you heard. Oliver cuts me off. Yeah, Nora told us. I wonder what she told them about our fight. I hope you'll come, I say. If not for me, then for Nora. She cares about Ziggy too. I'll be there, he says without hesitation. Great. Hope flutters in my belly. Maybe Oliver can forgive me. Listen, I'm sorry, so sorry about what happened in the hideout. I promise I didn't mean for any of that to happen. Oliver shrugs. It's okay. I'm not really mad at you. You're not? I'm disappointed we can't use the hideout anymore, but it was probably only a matter of time before we were caught down there. Then why aren't you talking to me? I ask. He shrugs again. I don't know. Elena and Miles were mad that you weren't more careful, and I went along with them because it was easier. He pauses and clears his throat. Sorry, that wasn't cool. Thanks for saying that. I want to fix this somehow. Maybe there's a way to get the hideout back. That would be great, Oliver says. He peeks over his shoulder into the apartment and lowers his voice. Drawing down there. I'm going to figure something out, I say, and I mean it. After we find Ziggy. First, I have to get him home to May. Oliver looks down at the search party flyer in his hand. See you then. We exchange small smiles and say goodbye. I'm glad to have one friend back, but now I'm even more nervous about going to see Elena and Miles. What if they refuse to open the door or slam it in my face? I take the stairs up the 2 flights to the 4th floor and ring Elena's doorbell. I force myself to take a deep breath so I won't pass out. Her brother opens the door. I'm not sure if it's Ethan or Elliot since they look so similar. You're the girl who got caught in the hideout, he says, instead of hello. My face gets hot. Then he turns around and yells, Elena, your friend is here. Elena comes to the door, and as soon as she sees me, I can tell from the expression on her face that she was expecting it to be one of the other kids. What are you doing here? It's the exact same thing Oliver asked, but the way she says it, she sounds less surprised and more annoyed. I wanted to give you this. I hand her the flyer and explain about the search party. I hope you can come. I'll let you know, Elena says coldly, and then starts to close the door. Wait, I say. I also wanted to tell you that I'm sorry about everything. I know how much the hideout meant to you. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. You have to believe me. I believe that you didn't mean for it to happen, she says, but it happened because you weren't careful. I don't know why you thought it would be a good idea to fall asleep down there. It was a huge mistake, I say, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to find out a way to get the hideout back. How? You'll see, I say, since that idea sounds better than the truth, which is that I have no idea. Anyway, see you, I say. Bye, Elena says before closing the door. I head up to the 5th floor next to see Miles, but when I knock on his door, his mom opens and says he's in the shower. I give her the flyer to give to him. I think he'll show up to the search party since he likes Ziggy and May too. This is the same floor that Nora lives on, so I'm tempted to ring her doorbell, but instead I slip one of the flyers under her door. Back in my apartment, I make another mental list. This time, it's a list of wishes. I wish for Nora to come to the search party. I wish for Ziggy's safe return. And I wish for things to get back the way they were before I messed everything up. Chapter 30. My first wish doesn't come true. I'm standing in front of 20 or so people in the lobby. It's pretty good turnout, especially since the search party came together last minute. But the one person I really wanted to come isn't here. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, since Nora's still mad at me. But I thought she'd want to help find Ziggy. My hands are clammy because I don't love having to speak in front of a group of people, especially so many adults. Besides my parents, there's Carlos and Daniela, Oliver, Elena, and Miles came, along with a couple of their parents. May is here too. She's not going to help us search since her knee is still healing, but she came downstairs for support. And then there are some neighbors I haven't met before, or have only seen around the building a few times, like Mr. Hollins. I take a deep breath and remind myself why I'm here. Thanks for coming, I begin, but everyone is still mingling and can't hear me. Excuse me, I say louder. The crowd notices me and gets quiet. Malia moves to the front of it and gives me 2 thumbs up. I flash a nervous smile. Thanks for being here. I was thinking we should break into groups of 4 or 5 people. To get ready for the search, I printed a few copies of a map of our area. On each map, I colored over 3 different sets of streets in the neighborhood with a highlighter. Each group should take a map and search the streets that I highlighted. Since there are a lot of apartment buildings on our block, maybe you can try to stop people as they walk in or out. You can also ring their buzzers and ask over the intercom. There are some houses on the side streets around here, Dad says. So we should knock on those doors too. I nod and point to the coffee table in between the couches, where I put some supplies. Everyone should carry some flyers with Ziggy's picture, and I also made baggies with Ziggy's favorite dog treats. Last night, I did some more research on finding dogs and read about carrying treats. If Ziggy smells them, he might come out from wherever he's hiding, if he's hiding somewhere. My dad's cell number is on each map, so if you find Ziggy or learn anything helpful, you can call him. I glance at my phone. How about we meet back here in an hour? That should be enough time to cover our areas, and pizza will be here when we get back. Everyone nods. May? I ask her in a lower voice. Do you want to, say anything? Everyone turns to May, who's sitting on one of the armchairs with her cane leaning against it. Just my thanks. Ziggy is everything to me. The thought of losing him forever. Her voice breaks, and she shakes her head sadly. I appreciate all of you so much for taking the time to look for him. We're going to find him, I tell her. We have to. To the rest of the room, I say, let's start searching. Oliver and Miles move next to me. Behind them, Elena's looking at the maps at the coffee table. It's so cool that you organized this, Miles says. Thanks, I say. Do you want to be in a group together? Miles nods, and Oliver says, sure. Great, I smile, relieved that they are willing to hang out with me again. I wonder if Elena will want to come with us. Now she's holding a map and a bag of treats. She walks over. Ready to go? She smiles at all of us, even me, and I exhale. We all head out with my dad. Our map has the streets to the right of our building highlighted, so we walk to the right, which is also toward the park. I keep trying to think like a dog. Where would Ziggy go? During the rain, I'm guessing he looked for a dry place to hide. But then once it ended, maybe he tried to walk back home, but got confused? Or someone saw him wandering around and picked him up? Between our apartment building and the park entrance are 2 more buildings, so we stand in front of them for 10 minutes to talk to the residents coming in and out. But nobody we talk to has seen Ziggy. After ringing all the buzzers and talking to a few people over the intercom, we decide to keep walking down our street. We'll circle back to the buildings in case more people show up. We search and talk to people for another hour, but nobody has seen him anywhere. I hope one of the other groups had better luck, but if someone had found Ziggy, they would have called Dad. A couple of the other groups are back inside the lobby when we get there. From the disappointment on their faces, I know they didn't have any luck either. Dad goes over to talk to them and find out more. We wait for the other groups to return, and then the pizza arrives. Everyone starts eating it, but the mood in the room is grim. This is hopeless, I say out loud to nobody. Daniela must have heard, because she comes over and puts her arm around my shoulders. Don't worry, Joy. I bet you Ziggy is fine. You know, dogs are resourceful animals. They always manage to find a safe place when they need one. He'll turn up. We'll keep searching. Thanks, I tell her. I want to believe her, but it's so hard to stay positive. But then something she says lingers in my brain. I have an idea. Excuse me, I have to check something. Before Daniela can say anything, I turn around and run.